Welcome, Detroit Lions fans. Welcome to the Pride of Detroit Twitch page. Welcome, Green Bay Scouts. Hello. Thank you for joining us. I'm not going to be giving away a lot of secrets, so you can go ahead and watch some Fall Guys or something else on Twitch. My name is Jeremy Reisman. I'm the managing editor over at prideofdetroit.com. You can find me at Detroit Online on Twitter. I'm no longer the interim coach of the PODcast. I am now just a measly co-host / guest. But anyways, we've congregated this Saturday night because I want to talk about Lions training camp. I was at camp 3 days this week, Tuesday, Friday, and today. So I want to kind of give a full recap of what I thought. I saw some impressions of good players, maybe some not so great players, some guys that need to play catch up. And then at the very end of the stream, we are going to watch some highlights. The Lions put up a full week's worth of highlights a couple hours ago. I've gotten permission from the team to stream them. So we're gonna watch them on YouTube. We're gonna break down what I saw, if I saw the play live. Break down some of the numbers in case you don't know who's who. It's gonna be a good time. So you want to stick around for that. The entire time, though, if you have any questions, be sure to throw them in the chat. I'm happy to talk about any player that you're interested in hearing more about. I'm happy to talk about anything you have, maybe concerns you have for the team, guys that aren't getting enough coverage. Please fill up that chat with questions so that we have a lot to talk about. But to get things started, I guess I'll start with my biggest impressions of the first week of camp. I think maybe the number one story in my mind is the fact that Jonah Jackson was starting right guard the entire time. And based on everything we've seen in week one, the starting offensive line is set. Now, I don't know if there's going to be, the guard rotation that we've seen in previous years, but basically every single first team rep has been the exact same. You got Taylor Decker, you got Joe Dahl, you got Frank Ragnow, you got Jonah Jackson, and you got Halapuli Vaitai. Those five consistently started each of the days. And so that's definitely something that I think was a little unexpected. I think we expected a bigger competition. And maybe that changes. There is still 2 weeks till cut down, and maybe they're giving the first week to Jonah Jackson. Maybe they'll bring Kenny up or even Ibushi. But I do think it was a little interesting to see how Matt Patricia teased that there was going to be some sort of rotation, and maybe they were rotating before they got out there in front of the media, but we haven't seen it at all through 5 days, through 5 practices. So that was the biggest surprise, maybe one of the biggest takeaways for me. By the way, Dustin, thank you for the tier 1 sub gifted to Madrigal 2112. Appreciate it, bud. I'll jump right into some questions here. Crazy FD asks, how's Swift, the injury? Now, I'll be clear here. I did not see the injury happen. I've heard some reporters say that they saw trainers working with his leg, hamstring, maybe something around that area. We're really not allowed to speculate, and we probably shouldn't speculate at this point. There was no point in practice, though, where it was like he was hobbling off or he had to get carted off or anything like that. So if I had to guess, the Lions are just taking it careful with him, and that's obviously smart, given that you only have a little bit of time and you don't want to have a player push through an injury, potentially make it worse, and have 3 weeks to recuperate. Do it while you can now. Running back is a position where you don't really necessarily need the reps in practice as much because there isn't that full contact. It isn't really like it is for some of the other positions where it's a real game situation with running backs. Him just kind of going through the mental reps, going through the tape, I think is enough for him to potentially be ready in week 1 as long as he's healthy enough. At this point, I don't think there's necessarily big enough concern about it, but it's obviously something to keep an eye on. Your second pick, not great to see him out early, and you want your rookies to get as much time as possible. But at this point, I'm not overly concerned about the Swift injury. So Baby Zern asks, I'm curious how Oruwariye looked today. Pretty comfortable, I would say. The cornerbacks have actually looked pretty good despite all kind of the movement and the injuries, and Oruwariye has looked comfortable as a starter pretty much all of camp. I don't know if I have any specific notes on what he did today. He did have a pass breakup on Marvin, nope, never mind, that was the previous day. Hold on, my notes are not in order. Let me see if I have any 24s from today. He didn't like stick out one way in the positive or negative, so that's good. Kenny got the best of him once during one-on-ones, but Kenny's gotten the best of a lot of people. Kenny and Marvin look like they're ready to go. As we'll see in the highlights, also Oruwariye had the unpleasant task of being on Hawkinson in a red zone drill, and Hawkinson he physicaled up, and he's a lot bigger than Oruwariye, and he proved it with a nice touchdown grab. We'll see that in the highlights a little bit later because I've teased them. But yeah, make sure you stick around for that. I don't know how long this Q&A will go. We'll probably go at least 30 minutes, maybe 45. So I would imagine right around 7:45 is when we're going to get to highlights. If you want to stick around for that. Let's see what else we got. Nick Williams standing out and all. You know what? I haven't seen him stick out much in the reps that I've seen, the one-on-one reps, which on Tuesday he had one or two good reps, but on Friday and today I didn't see much. He does stick out in the highlights, though. There's a couple good reps from him in the highlights, so I'm thinking either I overlooked them or maybe they happened on one of the days I wasn't there. I wasn't there on Thursday. I guess that's the only Monday and Thursday, so it's possible he stuck out on those days. But so far, it's really been Danny Shelton, who's kind of stood out more. And it's interesting because, Shelton's going to be the nose, and he'll play a little 3-tech as well. But I came in expecting next to nothing in terms of pass rush for him. And then on Friday, he really broke out and broke Frank Ragnow's perfect training camp record by beating him fairly cleanly. Then he did the same to Joe Dahl a couple of reps later. And I dug back into not his tape, but I looked at his PFF grade. I looked at his progression with the Patriots, and I think I underestimated him in terms of pass rush. He had 3 sacks last year, which is not a ton, but from the nose, that's pretty good. And his PFF pass rush grade, I think, was in the low to mid 70s, which is good. Again, not bad, but not outstanding either. So I think, where Snacks, we didn't expect any of it, and he was just a pure nose, and anytime they kicked him out to the 3-tech, he obviously wasn't as comfortable as he typically is, as he mentioned kind of in his departure. I think Danny Shelton might be a better fit. That doesn't mean he's more talented. That doesn't mean he's going to play better, but it does mean that his skill set matches what this defense will be using him for. And so keep an eye out for his pass rushing skills. Unfortunately, I can't quite say the same for Nick Williams yet, but I know he did flash on at least a rep or two on Tuesday. Most surprising so far, anyone blow you away? I'd say Shelton is probably one of the biggest surprises, that pass rushing skill. And it hasn't been he hasn't been blowing everyone up day to day, but just seeing some of the quickness, the short area quickness, I didn't think that he had that in him for 330-pound guy. So that was a big surprise. Let me think of anyone else. Christian Jones, I think, starting at Jack and pretty much consistently getting the first team reps there, has been a surprise. His performance there has been not noteworthy, positive or negative. To see him getting that many reps and Jelani Tavai kind of more delegated to second team is interesting to me. Tavai's kind of been he's really been more backing up Jamie Collins more than anything. And so I'm curious to see if he really gets a lot of play this year, or if he's more just kind of a rotational guy. I think a lot of us expected maybe him to take over the middle with Jared Davis, but nope. Jared Davis is still their guy in the middle, and he's barely coming off the field at all. So in terms of linebacker use, a lot of it's really been surprising. I think, we thought maybe Jamie Collins would play some Jack. He hasn't really been doing much of that. Been more of an interior guy as well, but playing some Will as well. I mean, he's really been moving all around except for the Jack. I've seen him there a couple times, but in general, he's just he's Will, he's middle, he's floating around very close to the line of scrimmage, dropping back, blitzing, all sorts of stuff. They're being as versatile as him as I was expecting, but in terms of where everyone else is, we heard a lot about Jalen Reeves-Maybin early in camp, and he was playing pretty well as well. But I don't know. Linebacking is still something I really need to keep a close eye on because it's just kind of unpredictable what they're going to do, and it hasn't necessarily followed our expectations when we came into camp. What do you think of Stenberg at center? I think it's only temporary. I think they're doing it now to cross train him and get him those extra reps and see if he has value there. But I really think that's Bo Benshall's job when he's fully healthy. Benshall's back at practice after missing a couple of the first practices, but he's not yet repping in full team drills. So it's still, when we're going second team offense, we're still talking about Stenberg at center, and he's really, really struggled with snapping the ball, and that's to be expected with someone who's very new to the position. And I haven't really seen a lot to be excited about quite yet in terms of, blocking. To me, I just think he's probably got a lot going through his head at the moment. Snapping is first and foremost important, and if you're overthinking that, I think blocking becomes secondary, and when blocking becomes secondary, it's obviously an issue. So it's tricky, injuries during training camp any year, but this year specifically is going to be really tough. Benshall needs to get back out there. 2 weeks until cuts. 2 weeks from today. So if Benshall can't get out there and start putting some tape out there, some faith that the Lions can have him in there in week one as the backup, maybe Stenberg's their guy, but I don't think they'd prefer that. I mean, they spent almost the entire second half of the season trying to get Benshall ready for that role, and I don't think they want to abandon it based on 1 week of injury. But at the same time, you got to get going. Not a lot of time till the regular season. 3 weeks from tomorrow. So I do think it's Benshall's job, but he's got to get out there. Injuries can be deadly this time of year. I think Hand starts, or maybe Nick Williams. I think we'll see a lot of formations with both of them on there, I think. Hand's been good. I haven't written a lot about Hand, but he's been solid. He's been good. And they've been moving him all around, I think Hand has a little bit more versatility. I think you probably keep Nick Williams in the 1 to 3 tech. Hand is more 3-5, maybe even 7 sometimes. We've seen them move Hand around quite a bit, and Nick Williams, I honestly, I think you're going to see a lot of them on the field at the same time, and I think they like Hand a little bit more. I think he fits what they want to do in terms of versatility and moving guys around, and like on third down, if you need a pass rush, I think you want Deshaun Hand out there rather than Nick Williams. It's potential they have both, but we've seen them in the past. NASCAR is what it's commonly referred to as the package where you just have all pass rushers out there. So maybe you do have Nick Williams playing the nose instead of Danny Shelton, and then you have Deshaun Hand on outside at the 3 tech. You have obviously Flowers out there as well, and you have whoever you want at the jack, whether it's Davis, Jones. Obviously, you're going to want Jamie Collins somewhere in there as well. Overall, I think Hand has the edge over Nick Williams if it ever comes to who do we want on the field. But I think you're going to see both of them out there a lot. Long answer, short answer, long. Long answer, short. I meant. Anyways, do you see Okudah's ceiling as high as Ramsey? I know it's early, but can you extrapolate what you've seen? Good question. It's hard to say right now. I think early expectations should be tempered. Obviously, he was dealing with an injury today. Don't want to speculate on what it is, but I don't think it's that serious. He really tried to play through it early on in some individual drills, and then I think the Lions are just like, you know what? Let's not push it. No reason to at this point. But he's been up and down. Like the thing that I see and players have consistently said this too, is like technician. That's the word that they're talking about. He's a guy that's obsessed with his form. And so I think maybe at this point it's all a little big for him. He might be overthinking things. He might be not used to this level of competition. And that's to be expected of any rookie. I think that's completely understandable. And the Lions have a good wide receiving core. I mean, say what you will about maybe the elite guys in the NFL, and maybe Golladay and Jones aren't quite there, but these are both, like, I would say mid-tier number 1 receivers, and if you have 2 mid-tier number 1 receivers and one guy potentially knocking on the door of top 10, it's tough for a rookie. And so I think I see, in terms of what I see from Okudah that's promising, it's work ethic, it's attention to detail, and the athleticism there. Basically, he has everything put together. At this point, I think it's just more of a mental thing. Like, he just needs to settle in, realize get used to the day-to-day things in camp, get used to the intensity of an NFL practice. And, he was at OSU. It's not like they were slacking off there. So I don't think it'll take long. That being said, I'm not saying week one he's going to go up against, whoever the Bears have in terms of the receiving core. I don't know. I don't know who they have beyond. Why can't I think of his name? Wildly underrated. So underrated, I can't remember his name. Chat's probably thrown it in the chat right now, but I don't know. Thank you, Allen Robinson. But outside, at this point, the most interesting thing to be picked out of camp regarding to Okudah is that he's been repping almost exclusively on the left side, and I think it was Dave Burkett who pointed this out. And that's the same place that Desmond Trufant has been repping. And so if that's the case, one of two things. Either the Lions are going to start it slow with Okudah and he's not going to be out there right away, or the very opposite. Maybe they're going to bench it's probably too early to make any of those kind of big claims. I don't think they really plan on benching Desmond Trufant given, the contract they gave him. But the fact that they're repping on the same side is weird and interesting, and it's probably something that's likely to change. Again, we don't want to make too many big assumptions based on 1 week of practice. Knowing what the Lions do next week could be completely different. Maybe Trufant's on the right side. Maybe Okudah's on the right side. Maybe, Oruwariye is on the left side. They like to switch things up. But the fact that they've been repping on the same side is interesting to me. Maybe it's so that Trufant can bounce ideas off of Okudah when he sees him playing literally the same side, literally the same position. Maybe they want him up against one of the better receivers on the left side. It's something to keep an eye on, and it's interesting, and it's something that hasn't really changed through 5 practices yet. So, something to think about. Do you see Okudah? Oh, I already read that one. Hawk making you. Why did it? Can't I see? Oh, make you think massive year 2 breakout. Man. Hockenson has been, I'm just going to say he's been the best player at Lions camp so far. Most consistent, biggest mismatch. And maybe that's saying something about the Lions defense. We certainly went through this last year where all the tight ends were looking really good in camp, and we come to find out it was probably because the Lions didn't have anyone to cover him. But the Lions are a little bit better equipped this year. Like now they have Tracy Walker kind of down in the box, so he's covering TJ Hockenson a lot. Now they have Jayron Kearse, a guy who's almost as big as TJ Hockenson. Let me see what they have Kearse at. He's 6'4", 220. 6'4". That's insane. There's one other person taller than 6'2" in the defensive backfield, and that's Bobby Price. Dude is massive. And so if there's like a physical presence that can match TJ Hockenson, and we've all seen the pictures of TJ Hockenson all buffed out, it's someone like Jayron Kearse. And I don't know if you guys saw on Twitter today, Jayron Kearse is like, I'm loving these matchups against Hockenson. They've really been entertaining battles, and Hockenson has really been has really gotten the better of just about everyone that's gone in his play. It's not to say he's been perfect. It's not to say he's getting 3 feet of separation every time, but he's getting the separation. He's learning to use that now upper body strength to get a little distance between him and the defender, and his hands are as pure as ever. I know he dealt with some hand issues last year with the Green Bay game. He dropped the touchdown, and I think there was maybe one other one, but as far as I can tell, man, hands are not an issue with Hockenson, and now he's going to be an issue for the other teams. I have to continue to remind myself he looked this good in last year's training camp because I need to temper expectations at least a little bit, but it's hard. It's hard because, like I said, he's been the biggest mismatch, and I think the best player in camp so far. I don't think that's overstating it. Does it seem like Bevel is working with Jamal Agnew into the offense with design plays for him, essentially making him a roster lock? I don't want to go too much into detail about design plays because it's against the rules for media to talk about that sort of stuff, and we know the Packers are watching now. But I will say that he's really kind of fit in as a slot receiver kind of seamlessly. Like he's Tom Kennedy, except really repping with the 2s instead of the 3s, and he doesn't look out of place, and I think that's important. I think he looks... It's still a little weird to see someone that's small at the slot receiver position, but it's not unheard of to have small guys at the slot receiver position. And to me, the fact that makes him maybe more of a roster lock is honestly seeing no one else really step up in punt return. I'm not sure if you guys read, but Huntley was really struggling with punt returns on Friday, dropped a couple. Today he was fine. I think he was 3 for 3 catching the ball, but it's not something that Huntley did. He was a kick returner. And so I don't think the Lions have anyone even close to the value that Jamal Agnew brings at punt returner. And if that's the case, it's probably worth a roster spot. And if he slides in as seamlessly as he had so far at slot receiver, I think he's probably worth a roster spot. I would not call him a roster lock though. Not at all. I think that still has to play itself out. I mean, when you think about how stacked the receiver position is right now, I mean, you have the top three, you have Marvin Hall, you have Quintez Cephas. We're already at 5 there. Do the Lions go 6? Is Marvin Hall a lock? He's been dealing with an injury as well, so there's a lot to be worked out there in terms of kind of finagling the thing that I kind of came into camp with the least amount of perspective was how they were going to manage all these skilled position player guys, all these speedy guys, the Jason Huntleys, the Ty Johnsons, the Jamal Agnews, the Quintez Cephas, the Marvin Halls, got all these kind of explosive new options, and I don't know how they're going to fit them all on the roster. There's some people that think, hey, running back position, there's injuries to be had. You look at a guy like Bo Scarborough, you look at a guy like Kerryon Johnson, there's not a lot of health security there, so keep as many as you can. Sure, but are we really keeping, between running backs and wide receivers, 13 guys or so? That seems a little crazy. So, it's something honestly I don't have a lot of clarity on through 1 week of practice. There's just a lot of guys that bring a lot of different talent, and it's gonna be one of the tougher decisions. And we're just working on our bubble watch for Monday, and I don't know what I'm gonna do with Ty Johnson and Huntley and even Bo Scarborough and Jonathan Williams. That's a new training camp battle because Bo Scarborough can't make the field right now. And Jonathan Williams, he had just as successful of a season last year with the Colts as Bo Scarborough did with the Lions. And again, he's a guy that looks like he's comfortable with where he's at, looks in place. He looks like he's not a fish out of water, even getting some reps with the first team a couple times when the Lions are going through some injuries there at the running back position. So those skill position players, man, tough. Hey, Ruby. We are talking lots of sports ball. This is some real in-depth sports ball. I'm not sure any of this is going to make sense to you, but thanks for stopping by. We're going to watch some sports ball highlights in a little bit. I don't know. That probably doesn't interest you either, but it's probably more entertaining than me talking about people you've never heard of. Let's see. Thoughts on Jayron Kearse. So he's been getting a decent amount of playing time. I do think he's probably more of the strong safety position. It's not exactly a pure strong safety, but in the box type of safety. So he, like I said, 6'4", crazy big guy, crazy physical. I think he's been mostly in place. Him and Tracy Walker basically play the same position. So I think Kearse will be the backup there. That being said, he's probably going to have to battle Will Harris for that spot a little bit, and Will Harris has not had a particularly strong camp thus far. So I think Kearse is kind of the backup there for now. But they've been mixing stuff up. Will Harris was repping with the ones today a little bit with Duron Harmon, and I think it's so that he can get those kind of box safety looks. Because when he's repping with the twos with Kearse, he's the free safety, and that's not something that I think Will Harris is very good at, and I think that's why they brought in Duron Harmon, right? They want Duron Harmon to be that free safety type because it's not really in Will Harris's skill set. And so Will Harris, to me, he's not going to be cut or anything like that, but I don't see a huge role for him right away, except for the fact that Kearse is suspended for, the first 3 games. TJ better than Stafford at camp? Stafford's good. I'll be honest, I haven't been paying a ton of attention to the quarterbacks, and I know that sounds weird since they're the one passing the ball a lot. But to me, the more interesting battles are just happening everywhere else. So I'm not paying attention to who's throwing the ball. I'm paying attention to more who's covering, who's catching, that sort of stuff. But yeah, Stafford's been fine. I mean, he's clearly above the other two, and I will say that David Blau has impressed me a couple times, here and there. Today wasn't his greatest of days, but I think he's taken a massive step from what we saw towards the end of last year. Obviously, we weren't able to see David Blau in training camp last year since he was not on the team until the Lions traded for him after the 4th preseason game. But in terms of what I've seen so far, I'm impressed. I think he's making some strides, and I think he's proven maybe why the Lions made that trade for him. He could develop into that long-term backup quarterback after the Lions move on from Chase Daniel. In terms of what I've seen from Chase Daniel, it's not really been anything impressive either. I think his value really comes in the QB room. I really think his value comes in terms of bouncing ideas off him, his knowledge of the game, his 12, 11 seasons in the NFL with 7 starts. You don't sign Chase Daniel for his experience on the field. You do for his experience off the field, really. If you had to bet on one player not named Stafford, Golladay, and Ragnow to make the Pro Bowl, who are you picking? Ooh, good question, Bolson. Golladay, Stafford, Ragnow are out of the question. I can't say Hockenson, right? Because, I mean, Kittle's in the division. Kelsey's with the Chiefs. Ertz. All right, I won't say Hockenson, even though part of me thinks I should. Let's go Tracy Walker. I think Tracy Walker. I mean, it seems like kind of a consensus vote there. Do you have something to say? But yeah, no, I think Tracy Walker's in for a big year. I don't think you need to read anything into the fact that he's been repping with the twos, other than they're probably just trying to get Will Harris some first team reps. So yeah, I think he has a chance. I mean, with a guy like I'm not putting money on this, but I will say someone like DeAndre Swift has a chance. When you're a rookie who's probably going to get a lot of touches right away if he stays healthy, he has that big play potential. And I want to lead this into the next question. How does Swift look? He looks great. And physically, I think one of the most telling things I've heard from camp was Kerryon Johnson today when asked, he was straight up asked, can you learn anything from the way DeAndre Swift is used as a weapon in the passing game? And Kerryon Johnson looked right into the camera and was like, I can't learn anything from that guy because his body can do things I can't. And that goes to show you just the crazy athlete that he has and the crazy potential he has. I mean, he has the potential, I think, to have an Alvin Kamara-esque type of impact on this offense. And if he does that, yeah, I wouldn't say Pro Bowl's out of the question in his rookie year. It would take everything kind of coming together at once. But if he can stay healthy, all I can say is I know the Lions are very excited about him. I know they view him as a big weapon in this offense. I think he's going to get a lot of touches. I think he's going to be running back 1 very quickly as we get into the season. And to be fair, I do think Kerryon Johnson is also going to get a lot of touches in more of a kind of standard running back role as an RB2. But Swift is the weapon in the backfield. The weapon. Yeah, same thing happened last camp. I'm sure you're talking about Hockenson. You're right. And I do need to constantly remind myself of that. Hawk was praised for his blocking. Has that looked just as good as the receiving? There hasn't really been a lot of blocking assignments for him at all. I haven't seen blocking drills for tight ends much at all. I'm sure that's something we'll see more as the intensity kind of picks up towards the end of camp, as they get more physical in practice, as they have more live reps. But they really haven't been doing one-on-ones in terms of pass blocking for reps, and it's kind of hard to pay attention to that during full 11-on-11, so I can't say anything about Hawkinson's blocking quite yet. But obviously with the upper body strength that he's added this offseason, that's something that I think he's intending on getting better at. Is Hall in danger at this point? I wouldn't say he's not. I'd say there's certainly a possibility. I like Hall a lot, and I think he's shown he's been pretty good in training camp, and the fact that they're repping him at punt return is obviously a good sign for him to be part of special teams. But I would say his job is certainly up in the air. I hope I have him included on our bubble watch list because I do think he's part. I think he's part of the equation, but not necessarily an essential part of the equation. So I think Hall's up in the air just because they have so many, weapons. Does anyone fall down in the videos? Someone gets tackled really hard. So yes, they do. Ingram is in the division as well, yeah. Or conference, I should say. Hey, come on. No. Listen, Cram. I'm telling you. The Swift hype is real. Just telling you, man. And I'm not saying he's going to be as good as Kamara out of the gate. I do think he's got a similar skill set. I do think the Lions see him that way. And I do think the Lions offense could work in similar ways to the Saints did. Just saying. I'm not saying expect the guy to be an all-pro out of the gate and tear up opposing defenses and just immediately be the best running back we've seen. And I mean, it's not like I'm saying he's Saquon Barkley or, I mean, Kamara was great, but he hasn't. I wouldn't even consider him a top 3 running back right now. I don't know what I put him in our top 10 list, but yeah, coming from you who hated Swift. Listen, I never hated Swift as a prospect, as a player. I just don't. I mean, you don't need to hear me say it again. I don't like taking a running back that high in the draft. But seeing a little bit more of his potential in the passing game has helped ease that a little bit more. I certainly wouldn't mind taking a wide receiver that early in the draft. So if they plan on giving him 40, 50 catches this year, well, then I think maybe I can ease up my hate for a running back pick that early a little bit since he's more. Yeah, Kamara's rookie's averages were insane. I'm not saying he's going to match his output necessarily, but I'm not saying it's impossible either. UDFAs. Let's talk some UDFAs. I'm going to have to pull up my roster sheet for this one. So Hunter Bryant, I would say, is probably the biggest standout amongst the UDFAs. He's obviously been given a lot of opportunities because Isaac Nauta's been dealing with an injury, hasn't been in team drills. Matt Sokol missed a couple days. Now he's back, but with a red no-contact jersey. So basically the Lions have only had 2 healthy tight ends in Jesse James and TJ Hawkins. So Hunter Bryant got a lot of opportunities, and he looks really good as a receiver. We heard Matt Patricia talk about him a little bit today, and he was basically directly asked, we know he's good as a receiver, but what about his pass blocking? Is that something, with this limited amount of time, do you work on that pass blocking now, or do you just kind of make sure that he does what he does well and will be able to continue to do that as a receiver? And he said, yeah, we're probably going to have to work on that pass. I mean, he doesn't – I'm very, very much paraphrasing because Matt Patricia wouldn't go out and say this directly. He kind of said it in coded language. But he was basically saying, yeah, we need our tight ends to be well-rounded. We can't have a guy go out there and be like, this guy can't block, so he's obviously only out here to run routes. That tips your hand. That makes the job for the defense a lot easier. So it sounds like not necessarily they have concern for Hunter Bryant as a pass blocker, but it's something that's very much a work in progress. And I don't think we're going to necessarily see him right away, depending on how quick Isaac Nauta comes back from his injury. But with Hunter Bryant, he obviously suffered an injury today. Not sure on the severity of that, but it's never good when the player leaves the field and doesn't stick around. So I think it's, on the more serious end of the spectrum, whether it's, days, weeks, months, I don't want to speculate on any of that. Might, we could see him out there again tomorrow because I think, it was Marvin Hall yesterday, I think, who walked off yesterday's practice and was back in it there today. So, what else we got from Katie? She asked if Stafford is able to put up 12 plus 3 pointers per inning. Do you want to come over for some cheesecake? 100%. I love me some cheesecake, which, by the way, pie. It's a pie. I know we've had this conversation before. Cheesecake is a pie, and you can't tell me it's in its own category. It's a pie, and it's delicious. And it's, honestly, cheesecake's my favorite dessert. Just thought you guys should know that. Any more thoughts be one on one of those linebackers? Is that what you're asking? I think that's what you're asking. Linebackers. Anyone stick out today? Tavai had a pretty good day. Tavai almost had an interception today, and it went right through his hands, right into the hands of Marvin Jones. And he kind of did one of those, like, helmet in hands things. But it was a really good read of the play. I think he was dropping into zone, completely jumped the route, completely read Matthew Stafford's eyes. So that's promising. He's kind of been, I think I said at the top, a little surprising with how quiet he's been, repping mostly with the twos, backing up Jamie Collins rather than, being part of that starting rotation. So how have the offensive tackles looked? Great question, Dustin Whitehead, because I didn't talk about one of my other big standouts at camp, and that's Taylor Decker. I'm not sure I've seen him lose a one-on-one rep in the 3 practices I've been on. That's why things have been relatively quiet around Trey Flowers. Probably haven't heard a lot from any of the beat writers about Trey Flowers, and that's because Taylor Decker's done an amazing job neutralizing him and playing like a guy that really wants to get paid. Yes, pay the man, exactly. I think that'll probably happen in the next week or so. And I don't know if you guys remember, but last year, I think towards if you take the last 8 or 9 games, Taylor Decker was a top 5 left tackle per PFF, and the tape matches that, and I would say the tape of camp matches that as well. Been fantastic. It was funny that today Trey Flowers finally got to the quarterback in a one-on-one rep. I'm like, oh, there it is. There goes Taylor Decker's perfect game, and then I look, and it was Tyrell Crosby at left tackle. So it's still intact. I still have yet to see Taylor Decker really struggle in pass protection in one-on-one drills. Paying a little bit less attention in full team drills, so I can't say necessarily that he's been perfect there, but no huge lapses, obviously, in those 11 on 11 drills. So I'd say there's reason to be excited about Decker. I mean, Decker and Ragnow have both been fantastic through camp. And given that Jonah Jackson has looked good as right guard, Halapoulivaati has been up and down, but I would say more up than down. The offensive line overall has impressed me. And even in team drills, I've seen them create some lanes. I've seen them get some push. Whether that lasts against better defensive lines, you always have to consider who they're repping against. And I think we would all agree that there's some major questions on the line's defensive line. I don't want to pass too much judgment and say, like, finally the Lions are going to have a running game. I'm not ready to declare that at all until I see them play against an opponent. But promising things, I would say, from the offensive side of offensive line, given my early concerns for it. Would you give up almost all that saved cap for Decker and Golladay? Yeah. We had I interviewed Brad Steinberger, I want to say. Sorry if you're somehow watching from PFF and Over the Cap, and he said, those are just valuable positions that you don't want to give up on. Good wide receivers in this league, good left tackles in this league are hard to come by. And, I think the way that the deals are going to be structured, given the salary cap likely decreasing next year, I think there's probably – the Lions could probably take on a significant hit this year. And yeah, that means they won't be able to carry it over to next year. But it also means that they can, take a big hit now to lessen the hit of next year and maybe the year after when, the questions about the salary cap that we don't know yet are answered. So you kind of want to protect yourself from those years and maybe take on the hit when you can take it now, so you can free yourself up later. As a former collegiate tight end, I love listening to Hank Fraley's mic up. He seemed like a genuinely great coach, and the players really like him. You can tell. Yeah, that's a good point. I haven't watched the entire thing. I saw the portion of it that was included in their Inside the Den training camp documentary thing. But I can tell you I've heard that from players exactly. I think it was Frank Ragnow. Might have been Taylor Decker who said, like, we love having a former player out there. We love, Fraley was a center, so I know Ragnow specifically. It's been like, you can tell he's been a center. He talks like a center. He knows what they're talking about. And I think it's important to have guys like that. I think you talk about I think the Lions have a lot of former players at their position now on the coaching staff, and that goes a long ways. Another coaching guy that they love and, was in the news a little bit given his relationship with Calvin Johnson, Robert Prince, Lions wide receiver coach, also a guy that's super well loved, and he's probably the most animated out there in practice, and I'm not sure if it's included in the highlight reel or if it was in the inside the den thing, but you can see him going crazy sometimes when the offense makes the plays out there, and I think I think players relate to that. They love that. They love seeing their coaches get in there. I think it brings kind of a youthful energy to have a guy like Fraley, to have a guy like Robert Prince, to have other former players out there on the coaching staff. Gets players excited. Do you think they actually do it, or is this a Graham Glasgow thing? No, I think they will. I think they get it done. I think it's more clear about these two than it was Graham. Who's disappointed you the most? Everyone can't be positive. Well, I was never of the belief that this was going to happen, but I've seen nothing to suggest that this is the year Jared Davis turns it around. He's been bad in coverage drills, and granted, that's not his strength and probably not what the Lions are going to use him for a lot if they can avoid to. I would say, unless they plan here's the tricky thing with Jared Davis. He can't cover very well, but he's a good blitzer. So do you put him out there on third down or not? Because kind of tips off the offense, right? Like, if he's just going to be in there to blitz, well, then it'll be picked up eventually. But if he's in there to sometimes back into coverage, well, then you're in trouble, right? So when you're good and bad at things on third down, where do you fit in? Now, the Lions continue to use him with first team, continue to use him as a mic. So the Lions still believe in him, but I don't know. I don't see it. I don't know. Let's see. Anyone else that's been disappointing? Chase Daniel hasn't looked particularly good. Logan Stenberg, I mentioned him up top a little bit, hasn't really looked comfortable at the center position. And again, understandable, new position for him, but looks like that's going to be more of a long-term project. What else? Jesse James hasn't really stood out much. I mean, compared to Hawkinson, it's night and day. If, it's kind of the same thing as Jared Davis. I haven't seen any evidence to see a turnaround this year yet with Jesse James. I don't. That signing is looking more and more questionable every day. And then, kind of along the same routes, the only time I've really seen Jesse James be particularly successful is when he's lined up against Will Harris, who is also struggling, I would say, a significant amount. I don't see Will Harris necessarily having a big role in this defense right away unless injury hits it or unless, they need him during the J-Ron Curse suspension. So I would say those are kind of my biggest disappointments so far. Well, and maybe even throw Christian. I don't really want to throw Christian Jones in there because I haven't seen anything specifically bad out of him, but he's also not been very noticeable at the jack linebacker position. He's kind of been like, dare I say, Devon Kennard, a guy who's there and doesn't necessarily stick out in the negative, but he's not necessarily a guy that's bringing out a lot of positive either. McGregor asks, what do you think the run-pass ratio will be? Early downs, I think it'll be closer to 50-50 than it probably ever has been. It'll still probably be like 55-60 pass, just because that's how the league is. But the Lions were actually one of the most run-heavy teams on neutral downs, on those like first down or, second and mid type of situations where it's not obvious run, not obvious pass. The Lions were one of the most run-heavy teams last year, and I wouldn't be surprised to see that continue this year. I don't think it's going to change much, though. Looks like he got huge, though, JD. He did. He bulked up, no question. And you can never question the guy's commitment to the game and commitment to get better. It's just, your mind, your body has limitations, and I don't know if we see Jared Davis ever really jump over that hurdle of limitations that we've seen from his game through 3 years. Is there a standout running back for goal line situation? Seems like it's been an issue for so long. No. They've really been rotating everyone through there. Carry on. We've seen a lot of Ty Johnson, who I don't know what I think about Ty Johnson, honestly. He's another tough piece of the puzzle. He's been repping high, so he's been with the first team a lot. Nothing particularly stunning about his play. 1-to-1 reps versus linebackers, he sticks out. in the positive. That's obviously a mismatch for pretty much any linebacker with his speed and agility. But outside of that, I haven't seen a ton out of him. You'll see in the highlight clip that we're going to see very shortly, he's the one that gets stopped at the goal line. The very next play, which I don't think is included in the highlight reel, was Jonathan Williams. I would say Williams has the potential to be that guy. He's what, 217, so actually not nearly as big as Bo Scarborough, who's 235, but 6 foot. He plays a lot more physical. He plays to a style more like Bo Scarborough, but just not as big. So, yeah, I do agree that that has been an issue for a long time. We've seen Kerryon do it, though. I don't think Kerryon is a guy who shies away from that physical contact. Maybe it's something he will in the future, given his knee issues. But, yeah, I don't know. To answer your question, no, there has not been like a goal line guy. Maybe that guy's Bo Scarborough, and the fact that he hasn't been practicing lately is why we haven't seen a guy stand out. But no one yet. Spartacus asks, is Cephas as good as Okudah thinks he is? Quintus Cephas will be a top 2 receiver on this team soon. Not this year. Very possibly next year. The thing he really excels at, and I think he's all over this highlight reel we're about to watch, is creating separation at the breaking point of his route. And a lot of it has to do with his physicalness. A lot of it has to do with his size. But he's basically, what I've seen is basically the scouting report on him. He isn't a guy that's particularly fast. He isn't a guy that's going to have breakaway speed from athletic corners, but he's a guy who's going to be a physical mismatch. And he's a guy who's going to catch a heck of a lot of passes that are thrown his way. He's going to high point balls. He's going to catch those contested catches ball. And that's what we've seen. He was all over the place today. And I think he was, I can't remember if it was Tuesday or Friday, but a standout guy on that day too. He's been repping mostly with the 2s and a little bit with the 3s. And so you have to factor that in. He's going against lesser corners. But when a guy like that is standing out in the way that he did amongst the 2nd string and the 3rd string, they're not going to stay there for long. And so I would buy stock on Quintus Cephas right now. And he's a guy I was not, when I was watching some of his Wisconsin tape, he was a guy that I was not very excited about. But I'm starting to buy in. All right. I've reached to the end of your questions, which I think it means it's highlights time. You guys ready for some highlights? Let me get them pulled up here. Now, again, I want to reiterate here, these highlights are via the Detroit Lions. I specifically asked permission from them. I'm not doing this. So if you're thinking of like, hey, I'm going to go do this, I'm going to go record a video and break down their highlights, I asked permission. You will have to do the same or they will come down on you. You added me on Twitter? What did you say on Twitter? No side crust equals no pie. Wrong. No. All right, let's get to it. I don't have a counter argument for that. You're wrong. Whoa. Slow down here. All right. Actually, before we get this started, I have a question to ask you guys. Do you want to... Oh, wait. Where's my face? There's my face. We'll be down here. Okay. Do you want to sit and watch through it all at once, whole the way through without me stopping it? Or do you want me to stop it, break down what I saw, and kind of go little by little? We can watch it once through without me stopping and then go back and watch it again while I kind of break down what I saw, or whatever analysis. You want me to stop with the breakdowns? I can do that too. Yeah, that highlight that you just linked, Fulton, that is in the highlight reel as well. Play it twice. Once no stop, then break. Once nonstop. Okay. All right, we'll do that. All right, I'll erase myself for this one too. I'll just be quiet. I'll mute my mic and everything. Ready? Here we go. It starts out kind of boring, but it gets better, I promise. I think that's it. Yeah. All right. Let's roll it back here. We're going to play it 3/4 speed. Let me answer some quick questions here. Cephas, potentially Aquan Bowling Roll. Absolutely, yes. Also, wait, I thought I had... One second. I thought I had... Was it on full camera? I'm an idiot. Hold on. I meant to put a little courtesy of the Detroit Lions on the screen. 1 second, everybody. Copy. Paste duplicate. There we go. Let's pretend that was there for the first time. By the way, if you guys want to watch this is on their YouTube. Detroit Lions YouTube. It's on their front page as well. In fact, I'll just show you to prove. DetroitLions.com. Hey, look. Take camp observations, training camp highlights right there. So if you want to watch these and you know, dissect it on your own, please do. It's on their YouTube page as well. Anyways, can Patricia play defensive tackle? Probably not. I'm guessing he has bad legs based on being in a four-wheeler the whole time last year. What's the biggest learning curve you see for Jonah Jackson this year? That's a really good question. That's a thoughtful question. I think it's probably just going up against bigger, faster guys than he's used to. You know, it's a skill level thing. I think he knows the position well. He has enough experience. He's played in big games before, so it's not like the moment's going to be too big for him. It's just him going against better competition. Trade scenario: Lions get Yannick Ngakoue and change for Jared Davis, Jesse James, Jamal Agnew. 20. What do you think? Man, that's a lot of players. No, I no. I mean, I think Jesse James is throw-in value at this point. You're also asking them to take on a huge contract for Jesse James, which I don't understand why they would want to do that. You're giving them Jared Davis, who's on the last year of his contract. Jamal Agnew is also nearing the end of his contract and is kind of just a role player. I don't think that's enough for the Jaguars. I think that's just basically the Lions unloading all of their excess to get a really good player, and the Jaguars are getting a second round and a bunch of guys they probably won't use. All right, let's get into the highlights again. We're just gonna skip all these padded stuff. You don't need to see that. And let's mute it too so you don't hear that annoying music in slow motion. Okay, here we go. So that's Chase Daniel, number 4. Hitting, I think that's Bolden, right? 13. Yep. Nice throw. Over 34, who I will admit I have no idea who that is. Tony McRae. Haven't said his name at all once. Good throw. Solid catch by Victor Bolden. That number 9, I'm pretty sure is Matthew Stafford. Kenny Galladay just absolutely burning the crap out of who I want to say is, I don't know. Did we get a number there? I feel like I saw that at camp and I don't remember who it is. Wait. How did I go forward? Oh my God, I'm horrible at this. I'm sorry. My telestrator still in training camp mode. That might have been Okuda. Yes, Doggo. Doggo's all over the place right now. Stafford again. This time that's Jamal Agnew with a nice kind of back shoulder catch because, obviously he's running to the left. The receiver's on his left. Threw it on his right shoulder. Good adjustment, and that's 34. Is that the same guy? Is that McRae again? Poor McRae getting picked on. Nice touch pass from Stafford, but even better pass breakup from a guy I haven't talked about a lot, and I need to. I'm pretty sure that's Justin Coleman, who's having a solid camp. much more promising than last year's camp and last year's second half of the season. There's your DeAndre Swift, and we're going to put this one in full speed because I just want you to, again, notice the breakaway speed here at the end. Very fast. Probably gets tackled there, but still just like after jets. Is that a thing? That's not a thing. Fast. It's kind of hard to tell on a clip there, but fast. There's Kerryon Johnson's knee brace if you're interested in that. He's wearing that. He's become one with the knee brace. All right, let's go. Oh, you don't want to hear that. Nice touch pass to Kenny Galladay. Right in between two defenders. He catches it because he's Kenny Galladay. All right. Oh, here's a good one. So, how I was saying that Nick Williams had a couple of good reps that I didn't see that are included on this? This is one of them. This is Jonah Jackson taking a bad step here and just immediately getting blown by Nick Williams. Not even close. And it's all about footwork there. He takes one wrong step and he's already by him. I think he kicks out that right foot. Watch it again. Actually, it's that left foot. He kind of gets himself crossed over a little bit. It's already over. Afterburners. That's the word. What did I say? Yeah, so that, and I think they're about to show another good rep from Nick Williams. Here's Ragnow. You know what's happening already on this one. Nowhere. And that's Shelton. Solid rep from him. And who is this? Taylor Decker. Trey Flowers. You guys remember what happened? Look at this. Completely stood up. That's what we've seen all camp. Okay, the give props to the Lions editor here because he puts two Julian Okwara reps back to back. And very different results. Okwara against Halapuli Vaitai gets a little hands to the face, doesn't go much of anywhere. Oh, there's another Nick Williams. Nice swim move. Again, this is, I can't tell if that's 70. Oh, it's 73. So we're talking about Jonah Jackson again. Beats him again. I didn't see that at all, but nice move there. I guess they didn't put two Okwara thing. I thought they did. Anyways, Deshaun Hand, look how strong he is, dude. Look how strong he is. Joe Dahl just 10 steps back. He can't re-anchor because he gets low and he's just super strong. Hold on, I'm moving back too far. Has Shelton looked better than Snacks did? Snacks was not in camp for... No, I didn't see Snacks in camp. He sat out most of the camp last year, and obviously he was a midseason trade, so I can't answer that, unfortunately. Hand has looked solidly dependable this camp. Nothing spectacular, but again, without full live reps, it's hard to really get a full sense of how good he's doing. But that's what we've been seeing. All right, here's the other Julian Okwara rep. Oh no, nope. Okay, so this is the back-to-back Julian Okwara ones. So here we see what's his name? It's late, guys. I'm starting to lose my mind. Tyrell Crosby. Put him on his behind because you see, this is kind of the bad reputation that Julian Okwara has, is that he relies on his speed. So he's trying to win outside. He's using his hands a little bit, but he's basically trying to win outside of that speed. Tyrell Crosby says no, puts him on his butt, comes back, inside move, gets past him. That great editing there by the video guy. And obviously, that's what you want to see. You want to see growth. You want to see adjustment on the fly. You see basically, you know what that is, right? Everyone knows who that is except for referees when Green Bay's on offense. That's a holding, my friend. Good rep by him, and to see that improvement. Now, I can't guarantee that those happen back to back. I don't remember when that happened, and it would be kind of funny if that rep came first and the bad one came after that. But either way, it's good to see a little bit of versatility in Okwara's game. The videos, you don't know that, Katie. I have nothing to say about either of these guys. I don't know who 67 is. Matt Nelson. We got Kenny Wiggins, pretty good rep against Shelton, maybe? It's a good rep for... Let's see, that's another good one. Wait, no, that's not Nick Williams, is it? Who's 96? There's not even a 96 on the team. What's happening? Am I losing my... Oh, that's Cornell. Oh, no. Dang it. That's a good rep from Cornell. R.I.P., dude. Here's your Pennicini for all you Pennicini fans. We get one rep here. Handled pretty well. Got a little high on Wiggins there. And there's the short area quick. Actually, this is all about hand usage from Shelton here. Watch the rip. Gets initially stoned, but then strength. He puts him at a distance with his left hand. Right there. And then rips with his right hand. Oh! That's such a good move. And then, boom, holding. Got the 10-yard penalty there. Blue bat. And that's Stenberg. So, rookie on veteran crime there. But, yeah, that sort of thing has me a little bit more excited about Shelton than I was when they made the signing. Stafford. Hawk. Easy touchdown with Will Harris. That's all I got to say about that. Stafford. Nice catch from Galladay, I believe. Nice. Look at that coverage. That's Oruwariye on Jones. That's some solid. Like I said at the top, Oruwariye looks comfortable. He does not look out of place. And that's good news for a second-year guy. Heck of a play there. Marvin's calling for pass interference. I don't think so. Chase Daniel lobs it over. Back shoulder throw to... I'm not looking at my sheet. I'm paused for dramatic effect. Victor Bolden. Who was in coverage there? Divergent probably. If that's 30, I think that's Divergent. It is third, unless that's Mike Ford. I can't remember if Mike Ford has dreads now or not. I think it's Divergent. And that's what I was talking about with Robert Prince right there. Loves going crazy. Here's your DeAndre Swift. Wow. Walk through. David Blau, what a throw. Nothing too excited there, but that's pretty emblematic of what we've seen from Hunter Bryant. Just kind of there, making catches. Scoring touchdowns. All right. Goal line play. This is one of the first live drills they did. Live drills meaning full contact. You can tackle. You can block as hard as you want. 100% goal line. You see here, 40. Is that when Bawden was still out there? No. Wait, who's 47? Now I'm losing my mind again. Chat, I'm sorry. This is unprofessional. This is not me. It's not Bobby Price. Oh, this is the guy they cut. The rookie fullback. Whatever. Rookie fullback leading the way. He's not the story here. That man right there is the story. Who is that man? You know him by the number 40. Jared Davis. Here it is from another angle. Pop! Popped him right at the 1 yard line. Did not give him an inch. Now, granted, this is Ty Johnson. Probably not the guy you're going to be running a lot of goal line with. But still very good play by. Definitely the best. Definitely the best rep I saw from him all of camp. Ruby. Thank you for gifting a tier 1 sub to AK Strafes. Appreciate you. Enjoy the sub, Strafes. I don't know what you're... It's kind of weird to be also known as Strafes when I don't know what you're originally known as. I talked to you. All right. Let me rewind. I've been distracted. Once again, Miss Ruby distracts me. Why do I keep calling you Miss Ruby? Mrs. Ruby. You're married. He's on your stream a lot. Lob pass to Kenny Golladay. What's going to happen? Touchdown. Over the unfair advantage of Justin Coleman there. Tracy Walker in the vicinity as well. Little bit of a push off. Hold on. You see his hand right there on his back? Right there. Not enough to, I think, draw a flag there. But you never know with the Lions, right? I think that's it, though, guys. I think that's the last highlight. Any idea if we'll get a Ford Field scrimmage? No fans, of course. Matt Patricia did say today that he will, the team will make it down to Ford Field at some point. It wasn't clear if it was for a practice or if it was like just kind of going through the routine of showing up on game day, getting used to that locker room, the procedures that'll be going on there in terms of COVID and things like that, or if they'll do an actual scrimmage. My bet is yes, they will do a scrimmage. I think they also want to get used to the turf. That was kind of what the question was about originally. So I would say the answer to your question is almost certainly yes, but it has not yet been confirmed or scheduled yet. What was the UDFA fullback's name? I forgot it. I'm a bad journalist. Lions UDFA fullback. Luke Sellers. Any Luke Sellers in the chat? Well, I think that'll do it. I did not expect to go over an hour, but hey, there you are, Strafe. Enjoy the sub. Enjoy the new emotes. And enjoy the emote of my doggo, who I'm gonna bring on stream because I'm, I know what the people are really interested in. Let's be honest. But yeah, if you have any more questions, I'll answer a question or two. Don't shoot Boyd Adam hands. Why don't you come up here? Ugh. All right. Hey, relax. Leave it. Good boy. I think you skipped. Was there not any Cephas highlights in there? That's a bummer. I think you're right. There wasn't, huh? Leave it. Ugh. Okay. You know what? Let's the Lions posted a couple of highlights that I don't think were in that package on Twitter. We can pull those up real quick. Do you guys see the Hockenson one from today? Fresh off the film reel. Hey, I have to teach him not to just go right at my hand. Let's watch this one because this one's a fun one. Forgive me. Hopefully DMCA don't DMCA me. This is just I'm pulling up a tweet. It's not my fault. They play music at practice. Look at that. This is what I was talking about when he's starting to learn how to use his physicalness. Now, granted, he's going up against Amani Oruwariye here, but look at this. Draped all over him, but he's just boxing him out. He's so much bigger, and he's just putting the wide span of his back right into Oruwariye's face where he just can't do anything about it. Like, let's look at the matchup here. TJ Hockenson is 6'5", 250 pounds. Amani Oruwariye, poor guy, 6'2", 205 pounds. So almost 50 pounds on him, 3 inches on him, and just boom. And he had to do a little spike. He's feeling it at camp the entire time. It's impressive. And it's fun to watch. Let me see if there's anything else. I feel like I've seen some Quintus Cephas highlights. That's the JD one. You know what? Maybe they don't. No, it's 9-19. Well, I think we're done here then. I'm sorry there's not a lot of Quintus Cephas highlights. But I assure you he's catching a lot of balls with the second and third team. Stream tomorrow. Unfortunately, I'm not going to be at practice tomorrow, and we won't have any video to break down. It seems like the Lions are going to be doing weekly highlights instead of daily like they did last year. So probably not. We will have the pod. Actually, we might do the podcast tomorrow. I still need to talk it over with my co-hosts. If we do, it'll probably be around 8 p.m. If not, we'll definitely be back for the podcast at 8 p.m. on Monday. Monday will be the team's day off, so there won't be any news to report on Monday. We can kind of talk about everything we hear around the Lions beat from Sunday's practice. But again, I'm not going to be there tomorrow, unfortunately. So other than that, you guys want to raid somebody? Ruby, who should we rave? Any other sports ballers out there you know? None of my friends are streaming right now, so that's not good. But I feel like we got a good amount of viewers. We got to pass it along here. Anyone out there know of someone we should raid? If not, we can just end it. My friend Andy does a sports ball show, but he's not on. Andy! Come on, you people with lives on a Saturday night. What are you doing? All right, well, I think at that point we'll just end it. I'm sorry. Sorry to all the other Twitchers out there. But thanks for joining us, everybody. Head to Pride of Detroit if you want more of my reactions from today's camp. I have a full 1,100-word article about everything that I saw. I have 5 biggest impressions from Friday's practice that I put up today as well. Send people to food. Jason Seep, is he the one that you food beasted against? No, it's not. He looks like oh, he's crafting things. What's he making? He kind of looks like... Nah, I thought I was going to say he looks like Tim Heidecker. He looks like Tim Heidecker a little bit. He needs a... Listen, I got long hair too, all right? Maybe not as long as him, but it's been long before, so I don't judge people on their hair. I know I saw what you were judging people based on long hair. And I think that's what you're doing with that comment as well. All right, we'll rate him. I don't know anything about him, but if Ruby vouches for him, then I can. I almost did /Ruby. /raid. Let's go say hi to him. Throw some Staffords in the chat. Confuse him because I'm sure he doesn't have any affiliation for the Lions, but it'll be fun. And yeah, enjoy some woodworking. It looks like fun. I'm not a DIY guy, but I probably should be because I'm an adult. Let's go rate him. Let's go have fun, and then we'll see you guys on Monday at the very latest, maybe Sunday. Stay tuned to my Twitter account, Pride of Detroit. We'll have all those details of when we go live. And if you just follow us and hit the notifications button. You don't need Twitter notifications. You'll just see us when we go live. Anyways, bye everybody. We'll see you soon. Thanks for joining.
Feel pretty good about that. Pride of Detroit. What? Pride of Detroit, welcome in, Mrs. Ruby. I just finished making my lunch for work tomorrow. I am back. All right, Kyle, what's up? Mrs. Ruby, what's up? Pride of Detroit, thank you for the raid. Nice to see you. Thanks for the follow. And Barry's Bail Bonds. Thanks for the follow. Nice to have you guys with us. You lovely people. How was your stream, Pride of